global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. From the feelers we are getting, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is getting it back to back from his own kinsmen. They are not sparing him at all. The governance, definitely, the hardship, the economy is definitely not smiling, and they're telling him to his face literally. In fact, as we speak right now, just some few hours ago, it was actually Raf Aregbesola, who was his former ally. Couldn't hold it anymore and is warning him, be very careful. Your government is going towards the place where Nigerians may be pushed to the wall to react, because the hardship is actually on the increase. Just some few hours ago, APC supporters could not take it anymore. They stormed the National Assembly, insisting that the hunger is too much, the hunger is bad. Now the afenifere chieftain is speaking. Now let's find out exactly what he's saying, and of course you would decide for yourself if it's just a case of they no be invite them for appointment and they pin up, or it's a case of he's speaking the mind of most Nigerians. Now, according to a well-known elder statesman and afenifere leader, Dr. Okurumo, has criticized the current state of democracy under President Bola Tinubu's administration and described Nigeria's political system as a quasi-military democracy, lamenting that the ending of democratic values as said. Now, in his view, Nigeria has shifted far from the democratic ideals of the First Republic, and highlighted that the period between 1960 and 1966 marked a high point for Nigeria's democratic governance, which followed the British parliamentary system after independence. He explained that in those early years, the system was balanced with a recognized opposition in parliament. Now, this opposition provided essential checks on the government actions, ensuring accountability. Furthermore, political parties were free to select their own candidate and create rules for fair elections. Now, comparing that era to the present, Okurumo criticized the current electoral process, claiming it is largely controlled by powerful forces rather than the people's choice, and expressed concerns that voting now feels more like a mere formality, where the actual decisions lie with officials from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and government insiders rather than the Nigerian voters. The people are supposed to go to vote, but the voting is most of the time a complete shame. They go through the motions of voting, but it's not really the choices of the people that count. It is the choice of INEC and interested people in government. They make us go through these motions of elections, but other people decide for us who the winners are. You cannot call this democracy. What we have today is a presidential system of government where all powers are vested in one man. All the executive powers of the states are vested in one man. And if that one man has the tendency for gravity power, it means that we have no institutions in the country. One man who controls the executive, one man who controls the legislature, one man who controls the judiciary, one man who controls the police, one man who controls INEC. That same man is the one who controls everything. That is the kind of democracy we have today in Nigeria. Is this what you call a democracy? He asked. Of course, Nigerians have been reacting to this. Let's just feel the pulse of Nigeria, one or two. Of course, my colleague is in the house for us to look at this critically. Now, you'd agree with me that he has spoken his mind, but let's hear what Nigerians are saying. This one here is saying, this is simplest truth. All these institutions are in President Tinubu's pocket. It is only God Almighty who, I tell that again, and if that one man, I tell that again, he said, what we have today is a presidential system of government, and it's only God Almighty that can save us from him. That's strong. And that person here is saying that if we can't control INEC, we cannot control police, then this is what we are. And that person here says, but unfortunately, the God I know don't listen to docile people, fearless and courageous people fight their fight and not calling on God. This one is saying that you should stop calling on God Almighty who can save Nigeria and Nigerians. They should go ahead and fight their fight. Okay, he's just saying that the citizens should begin to ask for their rights. Another person here says, when this man was a senator representing Ogun State, Ogun West, what was his achievement or bills he sponsored? Can we just face the problem right now? In his time, right now, that man is an old man. Oh. He has nothing to lose. My colleague is in the house. What's your take on what this elder statesman from afenifere got to say? You heard what he said concerning the fact that even though it's a division of power, different arms of government, but in reality, it's actually one man that controls all.
Well, it's been noticed. That's why, let me just start it this way. When we started noticing executive showing forth its power and controlling the legislature alongside the judiciary, people were not saying anything. They felt that that was okay. Why? Because everyone wanted to gain favor from the executive, and it all started from the party level. And when everybody wanted to stand by the president, we want to stand by the president so that you can get favor. I knew very well that by the time we move to where we are currently, it's going to get worse. We've not even seen anything yet. The only thing that can salvage this country is the executive, a good executive coming on board, and someone who have refused to allow the whole thing to run the way it has been running. Maybe a new guy who comes on board and begin to change the narrative, just like what we've seen in Rivers State. Everybody seems to be celebrating. The judiciary is allowed to do what they're supposed to do. Everybody, the local government chairman say they are getting full money and all of that. That's the kind of person that can salvage the country. But if it's a protege of this current government, it's going to get worse by the day. A situation will come whereby even the judiciary will not have a say. They will only be running the whole show according to the dictates of the current president. So I think Nigerians by themselves needs to take the bull by the horns. We need to tell them enough is enough. Whether we like it or yes, no one man has the ability to control everything. I think it's high time Nigeria, at least we wake up to our responsibility to let them understand that this is democracy and you can't be allowing things to run the way it should be. And if we do that, it's going to be, we need to start from the grassroots, and enforce this strength. Let them understand that Nigeria cannot continue because if we continue like this, we are going to be pretending to be running democracy, but unfortunately, we are running a civilian dictatorship, which at the end of the day will land us where we least expect, because the people themselves are going to suffer to a point whereby they won't care what is going on in the government. And when it gets to that level, then we may be heading for anarchy.
All right, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our conversation. What's your take? Obviously, everybody's beginning to take note of what is going on. But the question now is, who will rescue Nigerians from this kind of system of governance where we wear democracy as a cloth, but do we truly practice democracy? The three arms of government are there. Are they truly independent of one another, or just one man, just like the afenifere chieftain has said? Is it only one man that is controlling both the agencies and the arms of government such a way that even the people, the electorate, have no voice in the people that are elected, but just a case of this is what we want for you, so just take it? Let's interact in our conversation. Do you agree?